Chosen one, a divine energy is entering your body. Prepare now. This is not an ordinary shift. This is not a subtle moment that will slip past unnoticed. This is the convergence of forces far beyond the veil, flowing into your vessel with purpose and precision. You were not randomly selected for this. You were designed for it. You were destined for it. From the moment of your soul's first breath, this moment was written into your journey, a moment of spiritual ignition that would wake you from the inside out. You've felt the signs, haven't you? The vibrations intensifying in your chest, the strange surges of energy down your spine, the clarity one moment, the storm the next. These are not coincidences or symptoms of confusion. They are signals, alarms from the spirit realm, announcing the arrival of a power that will soon occupy every cell of your being. This is your preparation phase. This is the reason you've been drawn here. And before we go further, I want to ask you to commit, right now, to this moment of sacred transformation. Watch until the very end, and if your soul is ready, leave your warmest wish in the comments below and write 77 to align your intent with the divine current that surrounds you. This is not just about speaking your wish. It is about energizing the universe with the force of your desire and creating an unshakable ripple through the timeline of your life. This divine energy entering your body is not light in the abstract. It is alive. It is intelligence. It is consciousness with a mission. It has chosen your vessel as its dwelling place, not because you are perfect, but because you are ready. Ready to carry more light. Ready to transmit more love. Ready to withstand more truth than ever before. This energy does not negotiate or compromise. It arrives to transform, to burn away the false, to awaken the dormant, to pull every layer of your identity into alignment with your divine core. At first, it may feel like chaos. The old self will resist. The ego will tremble. Your routines may break. You might feel overwhelmed, exhausted, overstimulated, like everything familiar is slipping through your fingers. But this is exactly how divine energy works. It dismantles before it builds. It purifies before it empowers. It empties you of everything that cannot hold its frequency. What you're experiencing is not the end. It is the beginning of your elevation. You will start to see the world differently. Colors may seem more vivid, sounds more meaningful. Your body may begin to respond to things it once ignored. The divine energy is heightening your senses so that you no longer just exist in the world. You feel it. You harmonize with it. You begin to receive information that others miss. Insights will arrive out of nowhere. Visions may flood your inner eye. The veil is thinning, and your body is becoming the bridge. This preparation process is also physical. Your body is recalibrating to hold more voltage. You may feel odd pulsations, pressure in your crown, tingling in your limbs, spontaneous warmth or cold. Don't fear these sensations. They are sacred signatures of divine integration. Your cells are shifting. Your DNA is awakening ancient codes. You are remembering who you were before the world made you forget. And as this energy takes deeper root, it will call you into silence, into sacred solitude, into moments where everything external becomes irrelevant, and only your breath, your being, your soul remains. In these moments, listen carefully. Divine guidance does not shout. It whispers. It reveals itself in layers. You must quiet the noise to receive the truth, and that truth will become your North Star. This process is not a one-time event. It is a journey of expansion. Divine energy enters like a seed, but you must nurture it. You must protect it from distractions and distortions. It will challenge you to release toxic patterns, outdated relationships, and inner narratives that no longer reflect your truth. You may grieve the loss of your old self, but you will rejoice in the emergence of your real self. The divine energy also activates purpose. You will feel a surge of drive, a magnetic pull towards something greater. It may not come with clear instructions, but the feeling will be undeniable. A knowing, a call, a sacred urgency that says, you are here to do more, to be more, to awaken others. Do not ignore this calling. You were not chosen to remain hidden. You were chosen to shine. And as you prepare, know that your presence will begin to affect others in ways you can't explain. People may stare. Strangers may approach you. Animals may respond to your energy. You will begin to carry a frequency that speaks louder than words. You won't need to convince anyone of who you are. Your energy will do it for you. This is the beginning of something irreversible. Once divine energy enters your body, you cannot go back to sleep. You may try, out of fear or fatigue, but the spark has already ignited. You are now on a new trajectory, one that will elevate you, stretch you, and bless you beyond anything your mind could have predicted. But it will also demand truth, discipline, surrender. Are you ready? Because the energy is already here, and it's looking for a soul that will not flinch when the fire begins to rise. As the divine energy continues to enter your body, the shift within you becomes more undeniable. It's not just something you feel during meditative moments or late-night revelations. It begins to infiltrate your waking life, your choices, your thoughts, your movements. This energy is reprogramming your entire system, aligning your physical, emotional, and spiritual layers so that they operate as one unified field. You are no longer merely reacting to the world. You are transmitting, initiating, transforming. The sensations may intensify. Your nervous system is learning to withstand a new frequency. You might experience waves of emotional release, sudden tears, bursts of laughter, moments of pure stillness. Let it all come. These are not signs of instability. They are evidence of integration. Divine energy cannot coexist with suppression. It will bring to the surface everything you've buried, not to harm you, but to liberate you. You may also notice that time behaves differently. Hours stretch or contract. Days seem to move in spirals rather than straight lines. This is because divine energy moves outside the linear grid. It activates your multidimensional awareness. You start to remember timelines you've lived before. You sense things before they happen. You dream in symbols that later appear in waking life. These are not hallucinations. They are glimpses into the vastness of who you truly are. The human mind, conditioned by limitation, will attempt to make sense of this new experience. It will try to contain it, define it, or even resist it. But divine energy is not something to be managed. It must be surrendered to. Trust that what is entering you knows what it's doing. It carries a blueprint far more ancient than your current identity. Let go of the need to control it. Your task is not to direct the energy, but to allow it to direct you. As this energy deepens, your body will speak more clearly. You may be drawn to new foods or suddenly repelled by old ones. Your sleep may become irregular. Your breath may shift naturally into new rhythms. Your posture may change. This is your body's intelligence responding to the influx of divine light. It is cleansing, upgrading, realigning. One of the clearest signs that divine energy is integrating is the dissolving of fear. Not that you'll never feel fear again, but that fear no longer dictates your decisions. You begin to recognize fear as a guide, a shadow teacher, rather than an authority. You learn to meet it with presence, to sit with it, to learn from it, and eventually to rise beyond it. This is the spiritual muscle divine energy builds in you, not the absence of fear, but the authority to transcend it. The people around you may start to change, or at least how they interact with you will. Some will be magnetized, uplifted, healed just by being in your presence. Others may feel threatened, uncomfortable, even hostile. Understand this. You are not responsible for how others react to your light. You are responsible only for honoring it. The more divine energy you carry, the more polarizing you may become. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. This energy did not choose you so you could hide. It chose you so you could lead. And this leadership is not about status or control. It's about resonance. You will find yourself naturally guiding others, offering words you didn't even know you had, channeling clarity, holding space for transformation. You will do this not from ego, but from alignment, from a deep inner knowing that this is what you were made for. The divine energy also begins to activate sacred memory. You may recall past life skills, lost languages of the soul, ancient knowledge embedded in your bones. You might begin to speak words that carry vibrational codes. You'll be drawn to sacred sounds, chants, frequencies that awaken something ancient within you. Follow these nudges. They are part of your preparation. You are becoming a vessel, not a container, but a conduit. Divine energy flows through you, not to you. You are not here to possess it, but to express it. The more you open, the more it flows. The more you resist, the more it stagnates. This is the dance. Surrender, receive, radiate. This process will test your relationships with control, with attachment, with expectation. It will strip away anything built on illusion. It will bring you face to face with your deepest shadows, not to punish you, but to offer you a choice. Continue clinging to what is familiar, or step into what is true. Only one of these paths leads to your full activation. And with every layer you release, more light floods in. With every false identity you shed, your soul becomes more visible. You begin to glow, not metaphorically, but energetically. Your aura expands. Your presence changes rooms. You become magnetic, not because of what you do, but because of who you are becoming. This is the sacred preparation. This is the divine remodeling of your entire being. What is being built in you is not a personality. It is a temple, a living temple through which the highest frequencies of love, wisdom, and power can flow into the world. And soon, this energy will call you to act, not from urgency, but from alignment, not to prove, but to serve. Your presence will become your offering. Your decisions will become declarations. Your life will become a map for others to follow. The divine is not preparing you for more of the same. It is preparing you to become a force of change. Stay open, stay grounded, stay obedient to your soul. This energy is here, and it is only beginning. As the divine energy settles more deeply into your being, a sacred metamorphosis begins. You are no longer just observing your transformation. You are living it in every breath, every thought, every encounter. This energy is not simply amplifying what you already are. It is redefining what you are capable of becoming. The old boundaries of your identity are dissolving. Your spirit is expanding into dimensions you once thought unreachable, and you are being prepared to walk as a new being on this earth, not above others, but beyond limitation. Everything around you may begin to respond to this shift. Patterns that once held you tightly may fall apart. Habits may lose their grip. Even your name, your voice, your desires. These may begin to feel foreign as the divine energy reveals the deeper truth of who you are. This is not a loss, this is a resurrection. You may start to experience divine timing in uncanny ways. Events will line up with precision. People you need will appear at just the right moment. Answers will arrive before the question has fully formed. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. When divine energy flows through you, you begin to walk in step with a greater intelligence. You are no longer forcing life. You are dancing with it. You will notice that silence becomes sacred, not empty, but alive. In this silence, you'll receive codes, instructions, visions. You'll begin to understand that not everything divine needs to be spoken. Some things are meant to be felt. Some truths are meant to be embodied. Divine energy does not always come with fireworks. Sometimes it moves like water, quiet, steady, unstoppable. As this energy expands within, you may also confront the deepest parts of yourself, the hidden wounds, the suppressed grief, the shame you never dared to speak. The energy brings light to all shadows. It does not bypass pain. It heals it by exposing it. This is why you must stay present. You must be brave enough to face yourself fully, without flinching. The only way out is through. And what lies beyond the pain is freedom. Real, lasting freedom. This freedom comes with responsibility. You can no longer pretend to be asleep. You can no longer settle for less than what is true. Once this energy awakens your spirit, you will be called to live differently, to walk with integrity, to speak with purpose, to act from love, even when fear would be easier. You are not just receiving energy, you are being initiated into a new way of being, and you will begin to sense the sacred architecture of your destiny. You may not have every detail, but the outline will be undeniable. You'll feel it in your bones, a deep knowing that you are not here to drift. You are here to build, to guide, to leave imprints of light everywhere you walk. Your words will carry power. Your hands will carry healing. Your eyes will see beyond surface. You are being made ready to walk as a living expression of the divine. The energy will also strip away distraction. You will lose interest in things that once consumed you. Gossip, comparison, shallow goals. They will feel empty, even repulsive. This is not you becoming distant. This is you becoming refined. The frequency of your soul is rising, and what once entertained your ego can no longer nourish your spirit. You may feel lonely, misunderstood, like a stranger in places you once called home. But this is a sacred loneliness, the kind that precedes deep spiritual union. The universe is creating space for new people, new guides, new reflections who can see you as you are now. Not the version you used to be, but the vessel you are becoming. You'll begin to attract with energy, not effort. Your manifestations will quicken. Your intuition will sharpen. You'll speak things into existence, not from force, but from alignment. This is the creative power of divine energy. It turns you into a living portal through which destiny unfolds. And yet, with this power comes purification. The energy will test your motives. It will expose where you still cling to validation, approval, or control, not to shame you, but to liberate you. This path requires radical honesty, radical surrender. You cannot hold this energy and still cling to lies. You must be willing to be reborn, again and again, in higher forms of yourself. The energy will also call you to service. You will be asked to give, to lead, to shine, not to impress, but to uplift. Your life is no longer just your own. You are being entrusted with light, and that light must flow into the world. Not everyone will understand you. Some will resist you. But those meant to rise with you will recognize you. You are becoming the mirror through which others will see their own potential. You are becoming the voice that awakens forgotten truths in sleeping souls. Your presence will stir things in people they didn't know were buried. This is the responsibility of the chosen, to walk in such light that others remember their own. The divine energy is no longer knocking. It has entered, and now it is building its temple inside you, brick by brick, cell by cell, truth by truth. Let yourself be changed. Let yourself be used. Let yourself be risen. You were never meant to stay the same. The divine energy has now rooted itself so deeply within you that it begins to rewrite your very existence. It is no longer just a force entering your system. It is your system. Your every breath, every motion, every intention is now charged with a sacred current. You are no longer simply a seeker. You have become the instrument of something far greater. The divine does not merely visit you now, it lives through you. At this stage, the illusions you once believed as absolute truths begin to collapse entirely. You see how fear once controlled your choices. You see how narratives of lack, shame, and unworthiness were inherited, programmed, passed down, not your natural state. And now, with this divine infusion, those false identities begin to shatter. This may feel chaotic. It may feel like a death. But it is only the death of the unreal. The birth of the true you is underway. You may notice that your external life begins to shift dramatically. Things you once tolerated become unbearable. Environments, relationships, jobs, even your own inner dialogue. Anything that does not match your new vibration either transforms or fades. This can be painful. Divine energy, while healing, is not always gentle. It does not negotiate with what no longer serves your soul. It removes it, and in that space, it plants the seeds of your true path. In this void, this sacred in-between, you are tested not in the old ways, but in more subtle, internal ways. Will you cling to the familiar because it's safe, or will you walk into the unknown because it's true? Will you trust what your soul whispers, even when logic screams against it? Will you act on the divine nudges that make no sense on paper, but feel like thunder in your heart? This is not a time for surface-level affirmations or spiritual performance. This is the deep work. The divine has entered your body not to decorate your life, but to reconstruct it, to elevate you beyond patterns of survival and into your natural state of divine sovereignty. You begin to sense that everything you do matters, not from pressure, but from presence. Every word you speak carries a frequency. Every choice you make opens or closes doors in the unseen. You become more intentional, more still, more aware that you are not just living in the world, you are now co-creating with it. Synchronicities increase. The right resources, the right allies, the right challenges all align with the precision of a divine orchestration. You are walking in the rhythm of something beyond logic. You have become part of a larger pulse, a sacred beat that guides the awakened forward. The divine energy begins to show you how to live from your essence, not from your history, not from what happened to you, but from who you are becoming. You start to release the narratives of the wounded self. You stop arguing for your limitations. You begin to reclaim parts of yourself you once disowned. The visionary, the healer, the creator, the leader. These were never separate from you. They were dormant. Now, they are alive. And as this energy integrates, you realize something profound. Your power was never about dominance. It was always about clarity. The clearer your energy, the more power flows. The clearer your mind, the more wisdom rises. The clearer your heart, the more love pours out. Not conditional love, not self-sacrificing love, but divine love, firm, pure, transformative. You also begin to see the sacredness in your pain. You realize that every wound cracked you open so the divine could enter. Every betrayal, every loss, every dark night, it all carved space for this energy to fill. You no longer resent the path. You bow to it. Gratitude replaces bitterness. Reverence replaces regret. The divine teaches you to bless your past, even as you rise beyond it. And then, something shifts. You feel called to express, not to convince, but to transmit. Through your voice, your art, your movement, your choices, divine energy is creative by nature. It wants to build, to expand, to beautify. And now, it will do so through you. You may be called to speak, to write, to gather others, to create sacred spaces, to start something completely new. You will know it's divine when it terrifies your ego and excites your soul. You'll feel it in your belly, in your chest, in the heat of inspiration. These aren't ordinary ideas. These are divine assignments. This is the mission your soul agreed to before time. And now, with the energy finally anchored within you, you are ready. The divine will not force you. It invites you. It leads you. It whispers, then roars. And when you say yes, not a hesitant yes, but a full, soul-deep yes, the energy will surge. Doors will fly open. Resistance will melt. Miracles will move toward you with startling speed. This is not mythology. This is now. The divine is not far away. It is pulsing in your chest, burning in your bones. You are not waiting for the moment. You are the moment. From this point forward, everything changes. Not because the world is different, but because you are. You have become the meeting place between heaven and earth. You have become the storm and the silence, the flame and the foundation. You have not just been chosen, you have been prepared. The transformation has deepened now to a level beyond comprehension. You no longer ask for signs. You are the sign. Your presence alone shifts frequencies. Your footsteps echo in unseen realms. You no longer chase purpose. You emanate it. The divine energy within you has crystallized into a permanent current, flowing through every part of your being with direction and precision. This energy, now fully integrated, begins to stretch your influence far beyond your previous scope. People you've never met feel your vibration. Words you speak ripple into lives you'll never see. You are now connected to the collective field in a way that transcends language, borders, identity. The divine has entrusted you with spiritual weight, not to burden you, but because you are now strong enough to carry it with grace. You may notice that time behaves differently. Moments slow down when something important is about to emerge. Flashes of the future appear as clear as memory. You're not just witnessing reality anymore, you're sculpting it. You speak, and the universe bends to accommodate your resonance. You act, and fate accelerates. But the higher you rise, the deeper your roots must go. You are now a vessel of immense spiritual voltage, and that requires purity of intention, stability of character, and depth of grounding. Without these, the energy can turn chaotic. This is why you are still being refined, still being emptied of old shadows, still being cleared of distractions. The divine does not give you this power for spectacle. It gives it for service. And that service is calling. You will feel drawn to those who are awakening. You will see the spark in their eyes, that familiar hunger, that searching. Your words will land in them like seeds. Your story will become a map, Your presence will serve as permission for them to remember who they are. You don't need to convince. You don't need to preach. You need only embody the light. When truth is lived, it resonates far louder than when it is spoken. Still, some will reject your light. Some will misunderstand your path. Do not be discouraged. Divine energy does not seek approval. It reveals. It agitates what is false and activates what is true. Those who are ready will rise with you. Those who are not will fall away. And both are acts of grace. You are now being called to move differently. Every action must come from alignment, not fear. Every project must serve a higher truth, not personal gain. Every relationship must honor your frequency, not dilute it. This is sacred stewardship. You are no longer just a student of the divine. You are now its messenger, its artisan, its bridge. The divine energy within you will begin to demand more spaciousness. You will crave solitude, not out of isolation, but because silence becomes the place where clarity sharpens. Noise becomes unbearable. Busyness feels unnatural. You begin to listen more, not just to the world, but to the divine intelligence flowing through you. Instructions will come in fragments, nudges, an inner knowing. They will not always make sense, but they will always make movement. You are learning to obey your own soul. You'll find that your creativity begins to bloom in powerful, multidimensional ways. Ideas will come that seem too large, too revolutionary, but they are not for the old you. They are for this you, the expanded you, the divinely infused you. You are not being called to repeat what others have done. You are being called to initiate what has never been seen. You are not here to fit in. You are here to ignite. And as you create, you heal. As you speak, you activate. As you live, you liberate. Your life becomes your offering. Your journey becomes a living altar. The divine does not ask for perfection. It asks for devotion. Not to something outside you, but to the sacred truth within you that now speaks louder than ever. There will be moments where the magnitude of your mission feels overwhelming, where the path ahead seems too vast. In those moments, return to breath. Return to presence. Remember, you were chosen not because you were flawless, but because you were willing. Because you said yes when others said no. Because you stayed open when it would have been easier to shut down. Because even when afraid, you kept listening. This divine energy does not choose based on worthiness. It chooses based on readiness. And you are ready. Not because you've completed the journey, but because you've surrendered to it. You have become the embodiment of divine will, flexible but fierce, soft but unstoppable. You are the flame that cannot be extinguished, the whisper that cannot be silenced, the signal in the chaos calling others home. Now, the final phase begins, a time where you will be asked to walk with more faith than ever before. A time where every step is sacred, every moment a portal, every decision a prayer. You are not just preparing anymore, you are activating. You are not just healing anymore, you are awakening others. And as you do, remember this: the divine energy that entered your body was never separate from you. It was always waiting for the exact moment you would remember who you are. And now, you remember. It is done. The divine energy that once flickered in your periphery, that once called you from the distance with whispers and signs, has now made its permanent home within you. You are no longer becoming, you are. You are no longer preparing, you have arrived. What stands before you now is not another trial, not another test, but the truth of your power, unveiled, undeniable, and eternal. This is not a conclusion, but a beginning, that only the divinely awake will recognize. Most will miss this frequency, sleepwalking past it, mistaking it for coincidence or chaos. But you see it, you feel it, the divine pulse in your bones, the sacred rhythm in your thoughts, the unwavering call that pulls you forward. That is how you know. The final hour has not ended you. It has rebirthed you. You stand now as a divine being in motion, an awakened soul encoded with ancient memory and futuristic clarity. You are the past's answered prayer and the future's sacred architect. The universe no longer merely speaks to you. It listens to you. It responds to you. It moves when you move, because the separation between you and the divine has dissolved. You are now the embodiment of alignment. And that alignment carries responsibilities, not burdens, but sacred duties. To guard your energy like gold, to speak when silence would betray your knowing, to act when action is demanded by the soul, even when the world hesitates, to create, to heal, to lead, not from ego, but from essence, not for applause, but because it is encoded in your being. The divine doesn't ask you to be loud, it asks you to be true. Now, a greater vision begins to emerge, one that stretches beyond the limits of your individual journey. You are a strand in a cosmic web, and your activation is activating others. Just as your awakening was sparked by unseen forces, your frequency now becomes the spark for someone else. And so it spreads, not as doctrine, but as a living, breathing energy. Truth doesn't need to be shouted. It resonates in silence. And your energy now resonates. You may begin to feel a new kind of purpose stirring within, a divine assignment that has no blueprint, no clear destination, only one requirement: trust. You won't have all the answers. You won't have all the support, but you will have presence. You will have divine clarity that arrives exactly when it's needed. Not early, not late, perfectly timed, just like now. What once terrified you now empowers you. What once confused you now excites you. You are no longer defined by what you've survived. You are now defined by what you're creating. And what you are creating is sacred. Whether it's art, a vision, a community, a path forward, you do it with divine fire in your chest. That fire does not fade, it transforms, and it is transforming everything around you. You'll notice the shift not in applause, but in alignment, not in how loud the world gets, but in how clearly you hear the next step. Divine energy sharpens your senses. You'll know when to wait and when to strike, when to retreat and when to rise. Your timing is no longer governed by fear. It is attuned to a much higher clock, the divine clock, and it is right on time. Even now, there may be moments where you feel the echo of the old self, moments of doubt, fatigue, vulnerability, but don't mistake that for regression. That is integration. Every version of you, the hurting, the hopeful, the broken, the bold, they are all part of this divine structure. Nothing is wasted. Every part of you is folded into the architecture of this awakening. And now that you are awake, you can no longer live asleep. You can no longer tolerate anything misaligned with your soul's truth. You walk differently. You listen differently. You love differently. The divine energy flowing through you has heightened your sensitivity, your perception, your power. You see what others don't. You feel what others avoid. You move where others freeze. That is not arrogance. That is activation. In this awakened state, time becomes sacred. Every interaction becomes a potential portal. Every silence becomes a canvas. Every breath becomes a prayer. You no longer rush, you align. You no longer beg, you embody. And because of that, Doors open, not just for you, but through you. You become the opening. You become the passage. This energy that now lives in you is ancient, but it is not stuck in the past. It came for now. It chose this generation, this timeline, this moment. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble into this power. You answered it. Lifetimes led you here, and lifetimes will be shaped by what you do next. So what do you do next? You live. You live with awareness that every choice you make is encoded with energy. You live with reverence for the power you carry. You live with the courage to disappoint the world rather than betray your soul. You live as one who has remembered. You live as one who no longer waits. This is not about reaching a finish line. This is about becoming the frequency that guides others home. Not by force, not by manipulation, but by radiance, by presence, by the undeniable resonance of someone who has touched the divine and dared to stay awake. You are that person now. The hour is not coming. The hour is here. The divine energy is not arriving. It has entered. And you, chosen one, you are not becoming divine. You always were. Now, you simply remember, and nothing will ever be the same again.